Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Osalumese Ejale, founder and managing partner, Mr. Ejale's Business Solution and Consulting. And today I'm going to be talking about the five things that any investor that wants to invest in a micro, small, and medium enterprise should know. So, if you're one of those investors that you came by a lump sum, you have 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 50 million, and you want to invest in any small business around you instead of going to the capital market, then this video is just right for you. So, without further ado, I'll go into the five things that you should know before contemplating investing in any small business. The first thing is you need to know that business's track record. They will tell you that the past defines the future. So, on that note, I know this sounds very, very counterproductive because I work with a lot of first timers that have great ideas, but for investors who have a very low risk appetite, I don't always encourage you invest in novel ideas, or rather novel ideas that have not been tested by the marketplace. So on that note, it is important that you invest in a business that has a minimum of 3 year track record. So they've been in business for 3 years, they've been registered. So if they've been doing anything before they were registered, those that does not count. So you're talking about from the point of registration or from the point of they have a business account, verifiable. They should have 3 years minimum track record before you contemplate investing in that particular business. Number two, you need to know the monetary value of the business you want to invest in. Because if you do not know the monetary value of the business you're going to invest in, how do you not determine the percentage you're going to get out of it? But the problem is that the average Nigerian businessman will not tell you how much his business is worth. So most times, and this is from personal experience, there was a client um, that I brought into the oil and gas sector, and so what we did, which is what I'm going to encourage you to do if you are facing this particular scenario, is you form a joint venture in a particular branch where both of you are privy, or both of you have access to the record of that particular branch, and you guys run it 50-50. So what this means is that if, for instance, you want to design and invest in a skincare line, and the skincare line is already in existence, they have maybe 6, 7, 10 branches, what have you. If you're an investor coming into this business or approaching this business owner, and you decide that you want to invest in them, and you face the challenge of they are refusing to release their records to you, what you could do is that you tell the business owner that, okay, do you know what, you have 7 branches, let's open an 8th branch, and both of us will finance that 8th branch. So what now happens is that that 8th branch will now become what we call an SBU, a strategic business unit on its own. So in that 8th branch, you, who is the investor that brought the 50 million or whatever, have access to that particular branch. You guys bought all the things together, and what is coming in, you are seeing it, and you guys are splitting it according to whatever agreement you guys have reached. Now the third thing is you need to know the depth, the amount of debt that that business currently has. We call it in finance, we call it gearing ratio. So usually it's calculated by total debt all over assets. Now the thing about this is that if the gearing ratio is 1, what that means is that this part you don't need to bug yourself about it, but you hire an accountant, or you can hire somebody like me who knows, and will help you figure that out. But it is something that you should ask, and you should make conscious effort to find out, which is like the gearing ratio of that particular business. If the business's gearing ratio is 1 and above, so let's assume the business is worth, let's say, 100 million, and you realize that the company's debt is 200 million, that means the gearing ratio is 2. What that means is that if there's any economic downturn, we are barely coming out of COVID, then we've entered into recession. Businesses of that nature tend to suffer the most once there's a sort of economic shakedown. So yes, find out how much of the company is in debt, and you can do this through the company. The company has a business account through the BVN. I think CBN has, through their credit bureau. There's room for that. So there's room for that to find out how much debt that company currently owes. Or you could be very sneaky about it, and if you have a banker friend, ask around. They usually have, but I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that it's an option. But it is something that you should, jokes aside, it's something that you should really, 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 really know. You need to know how much debt that company, currently has. Now, the fourth bit is you need to do your due diligence on the MD. Now, here's why it's very interesting. Now, the company could tick all the boxes. They've been in business for 5 to 10 years. You've done your research, you discover that, okay, you do the monetary value, or they decide to give you a joint venture. So, okay, do you know what? Like in my case, the client I brought to the oil and gas sector, we opened a new, because the company doing my client was investing in is an oil and gas sector that is focused on the downstream. So what we did was that instead of investing in the company's total pool, we instead did a joint venture on a particular outlet. So they brought in, my client brought in, X amount of money. I can't say that, and the company brought in the other amount, and they formed, they built the station, and that station will be run on a 50-50 percentage basis. So yes, so like I was saying, you could meet an industry, you can have a business where all the boxes are ticked. There's the joint venture, it has the track record, the gearing ratio is right, the company is not owing so much, and all of that. But the MD is a shady fellow. So that is why I said due diligence in this aspect is to do due diligence on the management of that particular company, to know, okay, does this guy pay? Because he could be a fantastic businessman but a terrible boss. So a guy that doesn't pay his contractors has a hard time paying his he doesn't pay his contractors, has a hard time paying his staff, had a hard such a person will not pay you if you're an investor. You understand? And you guys will just drag the matter, go to court, and so you do due diligence on the MD, or the MD and management of the company in question. Now, the fifth thing that you should know before you invest in any small, medium, or micro enterprise is the industry outlook. So, like was said, the four boxes could be ticked. The monetary value, it. The gearing ratio makes sense. The joint venture, you gotta form the joint venture and all of that. But that industry is in its decline. You understand? In such an instance, going into that kind of investing in that kind of partnership, if there's some industries that still have maybe 3 to 5 years left in them, you could take that risk if if you have a higher risk appetite. But for the most part, industries that are in decline, it is not advisable that for instance, somebody go and invest in kerosene business. Nobody uses kerosene anymore. In the early 2000s, people made a lot of money from kerosene. Anybody that's in the oil and gas sector would say that kerosene was a killer. But anybody now carrying 5, 6, 7, 8 million to go and invest in kerosene, it does not make any sense, because everybody is now using cooking gas. You get my point? So yes, you have to know at what stage of the industry, like what stage of the industry life cycle is, like this particular industry you want to invest in, what aspect of the life cycle is it currently in. Normally, industry life cycles, you have introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So is it the maturity stage? If it's in the growth stage, fantastic. If it's in the maturity stage, fantastic. But when it's declining, it is not a good idea to invest in such a business. So no matter how great the MD is, no matter how nice the gearing ratio is, no matter how good the monetary value of the business is, you do not, or the capital base of the business is, it's not a good idea to invest in such a business. So let me run through it again from the top. The topic is the 5 things that you should know as an investor if you want to invest in a small, medium or micro enterprise. Now, before I go on, there's a reason people would say, why would I invest in an SME when I can easily go to the capital market? You are right, but let me just give you a typical scenario. You could have, let's say, 2 million, and you go to the capital market, which is very shady, by the way, but let's not go into all of that. But you can go to your 2 million, and at the end of the year, your return on investment, or the whatever your share might appreciate with, let's say, a naira or two, and that 200,000 give you maybe 20k, 50k. But at the same time, you can use that 2 million and invest in a small business, and you'll be making 50k every week, every month. And at the end of the year, that 50k would have appreciated to 600,000, which is a lot more than if you are taking to the capital market. Now, yes, for people that don't have a high risk appetite, we call them risk adverse in finance. They do not like risk. Capital market is for you. You can go there. It's fine. I take back my statement about the shots I throw at the capital market in Nigeria. Other places they are nice. In Nigeria, yes, and I take back what I said. You can go there if you are risk averse. But if you have a higher or an average risk appetite, then I will encourage you to invest in a small and medium scale enterprise. Now, having said this, going by what we said before, first thing is the business's track record. What's the business track record? Have they been successful so far? Are they, that one you can find out through their income statement or their balance sheet. Yes, and through their balance sheet, their income statement, yes, their income statement and their balance sheet will give you a snapshot of where this company is. If the company doesn't have one ready, you can bring in your investor. Sorry, you can bring in your own accountant or auditor, or you could hire people like myself and will help you, look through their books and tell you, okay, these guys have made a profit or these guys are running at a loss. Number two, talked about what is the capital base of this business. I used the term monetary value before, but excuse my language, capital base. What's the current capital base of this business? So you know exactly how much your investment is worth to this business. Or if the company is refusing to give you their capital base, why don't you form a joint venture on a particular branch? If the company is an expansion base, like they are opening branches, so you could just say, what, let's partner this particular branch and let's share the revenue from this branch 50-50 or 60-40, depending on the agreement you guys reach. The third one was I talked about the debt to equity. How much debt does this company have? Is the debt a lot less than their current assets, or is the debt more than their current assets? If the debt is more than their current assets, that means any small giddy giddy, the company will have a problem, because we just came out of coronavirus. A lot of companies have gone under. So you need a company that the assets is more than their current debts. Then the fourth one I talked about, due diligence on the MD, the person, a better person, is he a good guy? You could tick all the boxes, but the person has a nasty character and he doesn't like to pay debt. Then investing in such a business is a very risky venture on its own. And the last but not the least is what is the industry outlook? So that particular industry, what is in the industry? Is it in growth stage? Is it at the maturity stage? Is it at the decline stage? You understand? Any industry, like I talked about, use the example of kerosene. There are other more select examples, but let's just simplify it. Kerosene. Anybody investing in kerosene now, for domestic consumption, it's a bad idea. For fuel, that's a different conversation entirely. But if you're investing in kerosene for the purpose of selling to people in their houses to use, then you know that's a bad idea. So yeah, there it is. The five things you should know before investing in any small or medium scale enterprise. My name is Oselemese Jale, founder of Mr. Jale Business Solution and Consulting, and managing partner as well. So thank you for your time and God bless.